Hey everybody, welcome to Craftniks, tabletop hobby spot crafting everything from terrain to the game. And in this video, I'm rethinking my tavern tiles. Now, when I rethought them, I haven't actually made a set yet. So when I rethought the tavern tiles for the first time, I thought in rooms. Now I wanted something I could dish out real quick. And interiors have larger rooms and smaller rooms. So we're not gonna really go with the grid because these are search points. These are exploration points, the targets you can hit and whatnot. So I just want something I could build out and possibly with enough tiles have a small dungeon crawl. So the first thing I did was I hit the internet and I went ahead and tried to get a feel for different tavern tiles and different shapes and designs and what's out there basically. And I came across very early the stone. So that off the bat, I was like, got my wheels turning there. I'm sure you know already. However, when I started looking at others, it had little coves, it had little side rooms, large, small, and not always in right angles. So I kept that in mind when I went for my build. Now for the planks, I'm going to use coffee stirrers. I like them more aesthetically than regular popsicle sticks. It's a torture thing because now I got to lay down more coffee stirrers, but I'm okay with it. Then I'm just beveling the sides using the X-Acto blade. I have my thumb, I'm carefully doing it and making sure that the handle portion of the blade is what's hitting my thumb if I go too far. But also I'm not going super hard. I'm just letting that X-Acto blade naturally work. You got to be careful if you're going with the grain or against the grain because you'll go ahead and split wood. But I went ahead already pre-done a lot of these in a mill session that I did. I was making crates. So I had a lot. So this is just me doing one more for demonstration purposes. So I went to the cardboard and I found this scrap piece here and I decided I don't need to measure it. I'm just going to cut it out here, but I am going to give it a right angle. Now at the time of this recording, I still haven't planked it yet because I had an idea about maybe doing this live. So if you guys are interested in hanging out with me and planking this up live, let me know down below and I'll try to set it up. In the meantime, I covered the sides with cereal box. And then I spray painted them black so that when I laid the planks down, the shadow underneath was shadow black. And while the shadow black was drying, I pulled out some brown and I watered it down. I watered the brown down, I watered down the brown. Call it the miniature painter in me, but I didn't do a full wash. It's not like I did 10 parts water. I did a brush full of water and a little pocket of brown. This was to get some discoloration. And it was easier to paint too. Now the brown was a conscious decision because I wanted to make a darker underneath, a darker tile, because I want to see how the contrast is with lighter scattered terrain. And I want to see if there's a readability advantage to the board when that happens, or at minimum, maybe just an aesthetic look. So it's a thing that I was thinking of. I'm going for it on this build. Rethinking my tavern tiles. And just a quick footage for future me when I have to go back and build some more tiles, eventually maybe a dungeon crawl, but old classic burnt umber with some honey brown, and these are the border sticks that I made too. Let's assemble this. So I started off by using one of the coffee stirrers that I didn't bevel, had a straight line, and I used it for the thickness so that I could mark out a guide for the borders. Now this helped later when I was putting in the middle wood planks. Then I worked on the miter cuts by just holding up against it, marking it, and then cutting it. Then I followed it up with a dry fit, and then I let the glue do what it do. Now it's time to assemble the middle. In hindsight, I should have closed off the frame on the side, but I didn't. And all I did was put a bead of hot glue the size of the plank, and then worked my way up. Alternating sides also, just to make sure I meet in the middle in case I have to spread them out. And then the last couple of points is I made sure that the wood plank staggered at the cuts. So wherever I cut the board, it would stagger to make it look more natural. And then I worked my way to the middle to make sure that it all fit. And I believe this one actually fit perfect. Now, there was one that I had to trim off when I got to the middle plank. And when it was all done, I went ahead and cleaned up some of the glue that might have protruded out and made sure that we had a clean surface to work on for the paint. Before I moved on to the dry brushing, I went ahead and touched up the piece. And every time I cut a plank, I left an exposed part of the coffee stir, which was its natural color. So I went ahead and touched up those parts. And I did the same thing. I slightly watered down the paint and then touched up the things and then did a nice little smooth over just to give it again variation. But it had enough. I was just spreading the love basically. And then I jumped immediately into the dry brush and I added a third color. That's the triad that I'm talking about. Call it a miniature painter thing. Blame it on the minis. So I used the honey brown on the dark wood planks, and then I used the lighter desert sand on the honey brown wood planks. Alright everybody, so thank you for watching, and remember, rethink your tavern tiles. Think about how you want to do it, and think about them in rooms. So you have big rooms, small rooms, and you might have a standard room. I chose the 4x4 that's right there, and I'm going to make a couple of more so that they will act like bedrooms and whatnot. So they're basically your generic rooms, and you can lay them out. So thank you for watching. If you want to show some love and support, there's numerous ways to do that. You could do it straight on here on YouTube with all the algorithm buttons, those likes, subscribes, and all that stuff. If you want to take it a little further, I have Patreon, and you could come support on all the social medias too. I look forward to seeing you there. And that's it. So rethink your tavern tiles. And I'm going to leave with that, signing out. And here's Shadows of Esco, Part 2. Triumphant over the snow creatures, the Nasari Rangers continued their search in the silent village. The vanished villagers left with no trace, but a marked door bearing the crescent moon symbol of the Nasari kingdom confirmed their destination. Inside, they discovered an untouched dwelling housing a wondrous sight, a meticulously crafted sigil crystal from the kindred people of the Diamondard Kingdom, located in western Escalt. Within its depths, an illusion materialized, urging the Rangers to hasten to the eastern hills where their contacts sought the vanished villagers. Aid was requested before pursuing the fabled owl feather iris.